Alright, guys. Well, I say alright, guys. I've only just started. I'll let people get into the chat. Oh, but Adam's already there. When can we ask questions? You can ask away. It's going to be a little bit awkward, though, because I'm going to have to switch between stuff from the Q&A video and then whatever comments that I get on the actual stream itself. Not too long, not too sure how long I'm going to be doing this for. I might do sort of like every couple of weeks, just like do a bit of like a question and answers, bit of an engagement sort of thing. If anybody would be interested in that. So, let's just have a look at that. How do I get to questions? Comments, I should say. There we go. So yeah, I had a few more than I was expecting, to be honest. I know I've not got the biggest reach when it comes to the audience, but very much appreciated to everyone who's asked a question so far. You're a lot more willing than people on Instagram. I was bored last night, like like midnight or something. And I did that thing, you can, on your stories, people can ask questions. I got like a comment from Craig from Get Beer Reviews, but didn't get any questions. I was feeling thirsty, so you could have got some juicy answers then. Let's see. Thomas from Window Beer Reviews. Let's show the comments. It says, hi. Hope you're doing well, my friend. We've also got James Rothwell, who says, hi, Peter. Hi, James. Hope you're doing okay, buddy. There we go. Oh. And we've already got a question there. Let's see. I'll come back to that one. So, in fact, no, because I've not got the questions ready to answer. I will actually answer that one. Most expensive beer that I've bought. That probably would be the Mikkeller and Lindemann's Spontan Basil. Picked that up at Shipley, the Shipley Triangle, when I was visiting Rob, back when meeting friends and family wasn't a crime. And it's a beer that I've wanted to try for ages. And I saw it right in the top shelves, like the one last bottle. And I thought, I don't care what the price is. I'm having a good time visiting a mate. I'll pick it up. So I got it. I think it must have been about between 20 and 30 quid, which I know in this sort of game isn't expensive compared to a lot of stuff that you'll buy. But I don't know, I'm very a little bit like that when it comes to paying over the odds for beer. But it was like, I don't think I'll really be able to pick that up that often, and I won't see it in the wild. I'll probably see it on like web shops and stuff, but it's like, I don't really want to add like a 20 to 30 quid beer to the order. But it's one of those things, if you see it there and you've got the money to hand, pick it up. And that's exactly what I did. And it was really good. I did a review of it if anybody wants to check that out. Let's see. Also, hi with hearts, says Adam. Hello, darling. What have we got here? God, I hate getting close and reading those comments. Bear with me one sec. I might as well get the YouTube page sorted while we do this. Make sure the volume's turned down. So, there we go. So Adam's comment is, how come you never learnt to drive? The first answer would be, I've never really had a reason as such, because I don't really venture that far. It didn't take a lockdown and a world-killing deadly virus to stop me from going places. Because I like, if I can, I like walking to places. I don't mind public transport. I get a little bit more anxious if I use public transport now. Plus, when I spent all that time in Germany, which I think there's going to be a question regarding that, because like the shopping centre and everything, all the amenities are in walking or cycling distance. It's just something I was like, I don't really feel the need to. Plus the upkeep of the car, and I don't know. I think laziness plays a big part in that, to be honest. And I know I could go anywhere at any time. The freedom would be great. I wouldn't have to rely on paying for sometimes unreliable public transport. But I don't know. Plus, I've got a feeling my eyesight probably isn't good enough to drive as well. Plus, I don't know. I get it into my head that, hang on, I could be in a car with people and they are my responsibility. And that idea, I'm not going to lie, it terrifies the shit out of me, that concept of having people's lives in your hand. But you should be having both hands on the steering wheel anyway. But yeah, so that's why, really. There's a few reasons why, but I think it all boils down to laziness, like a lot of things when it comes to me. So before I get into the next comment, just showing you what I'm drinking. This is her name was Webera. Don't know if I'm pronouncing that properly. Not too sure what the actual reference is, but beautiful Kev Grey artwork as per when it comes to Black Iris. And this is a chocolate and hazelnut porter. And I tell you what, they've nailed it. They've absolutely nailed it. It's lovely, lovely beer. I won't go into too much detail because I'm going to be doing Black Iris Beer Week after Coffee Beer Week, which is next week, which is after Brew by Numbers Week this week. So yeah, expect a lot of samey content over the next few weeks, even though I've got a backlog of beer reviews that I need to get uploaded. So you might be seeing some reviews that go up in the evening. So there'll be a little bit more content than there has been in recent months. Plus, I'll still probably be doing the odd live review here and there in between. We'll see. But yeah, so make sure I've actually got the live chat on and not the top chat. So what, I'm getting quite a few questions on here, so I'll answer these first. Captain's Meat Adventures, which I think I've got on the screen now. I just wonder about the video posted about another Beertuber. What led to that, and is he someone who you don't get on with? I think I know exactly what video you're referring to, and yeah, let's just say I was a little bit pissed when I uploaded that. And again, I think there's some other comments and questions that are related to that, but you know, I'm not going to not answer stuff. I think you're essentially talking about Mr. Hooligan, who I just don't think he's a nice person. That sounded really childish then. He's not nice. Not a pleasant individual, let's put it that way. Some of his viewpoints, the way he carries himself, his attitude, some of the things he said to good friends of mine, which, by the way, I don't care what you say about other people, because they can fight their own battles, and he's never really gone after me. He's made some dickish comments about me, but yeah, I just think he's just an arsehole, just an unlikable arsehole, and he's got some very, very questionable viewpoints, which it doesn't offend me because I don't care what your viewpoint is, whether I agree with it or not, or how vile it can be. If you've got that viewpoint, I think you should be allowed to wear it, whether I agree with it or not. Basically, because that's how you have discourse and conversation. That's how you challenge ideas and concepts. And if you start like shutting people down and things like that, you're basically just pushing these narratives underground where they can't be looked at, picked apart, and discussed. But yeah, he's just a bit of a prick. That's all I'm going to say on that. Until there's probably going to be another question about him, but yeah, I don't know. It's one of those things, really. And I've lost the comment. Then we've got Freddy Acrylic, the Saint of St. Ides. Good evening, and also good evening to you as well, Captain Meets Adventures. So Freddy Acrylic says, have you ever looked at a shemale and thought that would be a delicious treat? I don't know. It's the few times that I have seen a shemale, more out of morbid curiosity than anything else. I just don't get it. There are some things that people are into which I kind of understand, but I don't know. I mean, if you want to do that, if you feel comfortable being like that, then that's absolutely got nothing to do with me. But yeah, I can think of much more delicious treats than a shemale. But yeah, that's why I wanted to do this Q&A, because I like these sorts of questions. Then Darren Eves, all right, Darren, how are you doing? Says Rochi 420 or Machiavelli 420. That's a good one. Purely because I don't think I've really watched. Does Rochi actually upload content, or is he more of a sort of like a commenter sort of thing? But yeah, you gotta love a bit of Machiavelli with his wrestling music, and I mean, you can. I've got my flag there, the "Don't Tread on Me" flag. But yeah, just it's entertaining, in it. Do you know what I mean? And then when the drama comes along, it's entertaining for an outsider. So I'm going to go with Machiavelli on that one, purely because I've not really seen too much of Rochi, aside from his name popping up and that sort of thing. Let's see. We've got a friend Sunset. Hello, friend Sunset, saying, "Have you been cooking of late?" I've not really been doing any proper cooking, I'd say. I did make a chili con carne fairly recently, and aside from like the odd sort of like fry up sort of thing, but yeah, I've been a little bit too reliant on like frozen stuff. Like chicken, popcorn, and chips. I've been buying a bit too much on Uber Eats. But yeah, I don't think I've really done much cooking recently. But I did get some good quality mince from the local butcher, so I'll be doing some smash burgers in the next couple of days. I'm really trying to like master the smash burger. Trust me, it's a revelation. Smash burgers and dirty fries. That's going to be my next sort of project. Well, I say project, it's just cooking, isn't it? Really. But yeah, I've not been doing too much, and I need to do a lot more, especially healthier sort of food. So, Freddy Acrylic says, "Have you ever got that drunk you shit, pissed, puked, and spunked all over yourself while you were shopping at Lidl?" I've never really done those in combination, and I've not done them at Lidl yet. But I think everyone potentially has one of those moments. I'm not ruling it out. Let's put it that way. But do you know what? I've not been sick from drinking for years, because if I feel sick after drinking, I just let my body sort it out. Probably doing a lot of harm to my body by not actually throwing up, but I don't know. So yeah, but there's a first time for everything, as they say. Then Captain Meets Adventure says, "Thoughts on other Beertubers? Who do you like and who are you not so keen on?" Oof, that's a loaded question. Well, the Beertubers that I like, you pretty much see me joining live streams. Jaco Beer, Harry Blueno's beer reviews, Craig Kent beer reviews, Rob from Hop Scene, James Rampant Lion, Adam Mersey Beers, Who else? Greg, Bullman's Beer Reviews. I do like John Drinks as well. I'm sure there are people who I'm missing out on this. Brett from Beardy Beer Reviews. Who are the ones who I don't really associate with, but I like? I mean, there are people who I do watch. I mean, like, you know, the Americans, like Rod J from Rod J Beer Adventures. Then you've got the Canadian guys like Lee from, I can't remember, Hooley. I think his channel used to be called Hooley Beer Reviews, and like Chris from On the 10th. Nick from Maxwell Star. I do like Redbeard's content, although I don't think Redbeard likes me on a personal level because of some political disagreements. Isn't that always the case? I'm sure I'm missing out loads of people there, and people who I probably talk to on a regular basis. Swig and Steve, I enjoy his stuff. Great guy. Terry from Terry's Quick Beer Reviews. Yeah, if I've forgotten people, I do apologise. People who I don't really like. I think there's really only one person who I don't like, and I don't think he's ever going to lose any fucking sleep over it, but I just can't stand Beer Hooligan. Just on a personal level, I really enjoy his cooking videos. He's got a really good setup, but he's just a person I just can't stand. Who else? I don't dislike him, but I can't watch Simon's reviews. Real Ale Craft Beer. Oh, Dean's Beer Reviews. There we go. Big shout out to Dean's Beer Reviews. I was supposed to be doing a live stream with him, but it never came into fruition. But yeah, Simon, he's a lovely guy. Met him at Daya, at their tap room. But I'm not gonna lie, watching him cook, just nah. But yeah, there's not really anyone who I dislike, really. And that's not me being sort of like diplomatic or anything. It's just I've got no reason to dislike most people. Do you know what I mean? It's just unfortunately Mark, the beer hooligan, I just can't fucking stand. And I'm sure he's got the exact same, well, he definitely has the exact same opinion of me. So he's not going to lose any sleep over it, and I'm not going to lose any sleep over it either. But that was a good question, that. Craig Hatton. Hi, Craig. How you doing, well, buddy? Says, Pretty Patel, yeah, yay or nay? It's a yay. There's something about Pretty Patel. I don't know what it is. She kind of scares me, and I kind of like it. She's a little bit of a bitch, but she's got. You don't think that when she's like stood at a podium, but when you actually like see her fully, she's got a little bit of curvage to her. I don't necessarily agree with the politics, but I'm going to say Pretty Patel is a yeah. We'll go for that. Then we've got Joe G. If I suck my sister's finger and she insert it into her... If I suck my sister finger and she insert it into it, is that a sin because my mom is really angry with both of us and say we are going to hell? All I'll say is it worth going to hell for? And if so, who am I to judge? Good question, though. That's a really good question. Then we've got another question from Thomas. What's the biggest mistake you have made in your life? You don't have to answer this question if it's too personal. I will answer because of God, when this all kicked off, that's all I could fucking do on YouTube was just put out these really mopey sort of videos. But I think the biggest, well, it's sort of like one of the best things I've ever done. But at the same time, the biggest mistake was when I moved to Germany with my ex. Yeah, that didn't end well at all. It ended quite ugly, actually. And yeah, I was in a fucking stupor for quite a while after that. But yeah, I wasn't the best person that I could be at the time. So I had a big, hand to play in what happened. But the way it all went down, without getting bogged down into details, I think that would be the biggest mistake that I've ever made. But at the same time, I got to live in an absolutely beautiful country, drinking absolutely beautiful beers, eating wonderful food, seeing lovely places, making friends who I should talk to a lot more than I do, because pretty much every year, well, up until last year and the year and this year probably, I went back to Germany to stay with them. And the funny thing is, they weren't my friends initially. They were friends of my ex, but she just like completely cut everyone off. And yeah, it was the biggest mistake made, but I think it's what made me as a person. So I am very thankful for that. But yeah, no question it's too personal. Although some people watch and think, oh, why is he talking about that? But you know what? The biggest thing is, don't dwell on it. Move on. What's happened's happened. And I learned a lot from it. So it was a very valuable, but emotionally and financially costly morality tale, I suppose you'd say. But I like that question. I like questions like that. We've got Friend Sunsettle says, what's your favourite beer and food pairing? I've got a big thing for pairing donuts with beer. Now, when people usually pair donuts with beer, they go for like sort of like a stout. But this is going back to when I met up with Rob from Hop Scene. We went to Temple Coffee and Donuts. We had a donut while we were in, but we took a couple away because we were going to North's tap room. And I tell you what, if you've got a slightly fruity inspired hipster donut, goes well with a Goes beer. So yeah, that's a bit of like an exploration that I need to get back on, is pairing donuts with beer, because it just works really nicely. But I would say most beers with a good cheese and cooked, like a cheese board. Doesn't matter if it's a lager, an IPA, a sour, or even a bit of a darker beer. I do find some nice cured meats, a couple of different cheeses, and some rye bread. That always goes well with a lot of beers. But on the sort of snacky side, one of the biggest revelations for me is Snyder's jalapeno pretzels. Now, they just work so well with beers. And also scampi fries as well. But yeah, it's just, I need to be I want to try and be a bit more experimental with like beer and food pairings. I do cook a lot with beer. I'll always put like a nice porter in my chili con carne that I do. I used to do burgers where I put a little bit of a hoppy IPA in with the mints. So I do cook a lot with beer. But in terms of beer and food pairings, I'm going to say donuts. Donuts and beer, it just works really, really well. And it doesn't have to be a dark beer. Then we've got the man slut himself, Harry from Blue Nose Beer Reviews, who says Imperial IPA or double IPA. Which one sounds more cuntish? I'm going to say double IPA, because Imperial IPA could also be classed as a triple IPA. So if you want to get bogged down into the classifications and that sort of thing. But yeah, I'm going to go with double IPA because it's a little bit simpler. And I like simple things because I'm a simple person. So, skipped quite a few. I tell you what, these comments are coming in thick and fast. And I've lost the comment that I was on. Where have you gone, Harry? Where have you disappeared to, for fuck's sake? You know, you think it wouldn't be hard considering when you highlighted a comment, it's highlighted. There we go. Let's see. Joji says you're pissed all the fucking time, mate. You're not wrong. You're definitely not wrong. Then we go C Hatto. I'm sure your username was C Hatton a bit earlier on. Yeah. How come you ended up in Germany and why did you move back to the UK? So basically, fell in love. It was long distance relationship at first, and I think in some cases that helps. And then for like the last 4 years of that relationship, I went over to Germany and lived there. I was unemployed, basically living off the generosity of others, leeching essentially, or as Beer Hooligan would say, I was an illegal immigrant. Technically, even though it was legal to be over there, and it just got a bit too much. And then we split up. She met someone else through Twitter, of all things, and yeah, I had to come back to the UK, and that's it really. It was amazing though, because it was like 4 years of my life basically fit into 3 suitcases. But yeah, I was a fucking mess after that happened. But yeah, so bit of a tragic end. But I do try and get back to Germany as much as I possibly can. So next up, Freddy Acrylic once again. I'm guessing you're a hetero, but when you masturbate like myself, I like to start with crackhead blowjobs, then straight sexy, tied lady boys, midget sex, 45 seconds of animal porn, then finish off on normal. I'm not as diverse as that. I'm not as culturally diverse as that. Yeah, it's actually quite an eclectic mix. Much respect. Captain Meets Adventure says, you a computer game? If anybody wants to play my joystick, that's absolutely fine. And then we've got one. I'm clicking on comments on the phone, which is not going to work. Adam says, how many fake accounts do you think Harry has on YouTube? I'm sure he's told me of about 3, but I think we can double that. I don't know actually. I'm not going to incriminate Harry over stuff I don't know, but I'd imagine he's got a few because he's a fucking dirty reprobate, that's why. Then we've got Thomas from Window Beer Reviews. Says, favourite tractor? Ooh. I don't have a preference because I don't actually know the specific types of tractors. I like that style of tractor, like a proper old school tractor. There's something really satisfying about an old school tractor. None of this fancy shit you see nowadays that takes up like 1.5 lanes on a road. Just a nice sort of like hinky dink tractor. That's what I'm all about. Then we've got. I'm sure I'm missing something. Captain's Meet Adventures. See, the messages retracted on the YouTube stream, but I could still actually see it on the StreamYard stream. There's nothing else on Sky. Has it really come to this that you're not going to watch like Cops or something like that, or like Border Patrol? You'd rather watch me than reruns of Border Patrol. Is that what it's come to, Captain Meets Adventures? Or one of the many shows about if you've not paid for it, we're going to take it. I don't know. I know that's not what it's called, but I can't remember what it's called. Let's see. Adam says, how genuine do you think is Seaside Mark's YouTube persona to who he actually is in real life. Well, I've got a little bit of an insight into that because Lucy added him as a friend to make Harry a little bit of a shout-out video. And the amount of messages he sent her, basically, it was as if someone's got a written transcript of a Seaside Mark video. So I think he's genuine as fuck. I think he just play on some of the stereotypes that people have about him. Like sometimes his stammers and stutters. I mean, there are some times when you can clearly tell he's playing into it because it goes on for like 30 seconds. But I do genuinely think he's. I just genuine. I really, really do. He's such an interesting character. But that being said, he's not been on YouTube for ages, has he? I don't know if he does like live stuff on Facebook now or anything like that, but yeah. But if he is a character, then that's genius. It really, really is. But yeah, I do wholeheartedly think he's genuinely like that, and I love him for it. Then we got Vanessa Kitty. Hi, Vanessa. Says hi. Hello. How are you doing? Hope you're doing okay. And then we've got Freddy Acrylic's comment is showing after. Yeah, it's sort of like skewed. So if I'm reading comments out of sync, then I do apologise. Some of them are showing up a little bit earlier on this than they are on the actual StreamYard one. So on the phone, well, I've got it on the screen now, is Freddy Acrylic says, "It's good to know your thoughts on the questions. Glad you are transparent with your answers. I'd make a shit politician." But yeah, I am a big advocate of just be honest. Do you know what I mean? It's like if you've got something on your mind or you've got something to say it. Don't pussyfoot around it. I don't understand that mindset. But yeah, I like to be as transparent as I can, for better or for worse. Then Friends Sunset with a very important question, and I do genuinely mean that. Lidl versus Aldi. Discuss. I actually much prefer Lidl. They've got a better sort of, well, I don't think Aldi actually has a fresh bakery thing, does it? Or do some have and some not? But the pretzels, when Lidl do the pretzels, they are fucking awesome. Plus, they seem to be a little bit more offering. They seem to offer a little more sort of like German and Austrian goods. Because I mean, don't get me wrong, the quality of like the British meats and stuff is good in both Lidl and Aldi. I would say Aldi just about wins on like quality of produce. But when I'm going to Lidl and Aldi, especially living in Germany and going to Lidl and Aldi in Germany, it's completely different. I'd like to see more German produce. Don't know how that's going to be now in Brexit, and I am a big fan of more Britain, without sounding too much like a Tory. But then again, I'm not one of those people who just blindly says fuck Tories. I think it's good that we've now got an opportunity post-Brexit. Nobody mentioned Brexit. Why am I bringing it up? Now we've got an opportunity for local produce to be focused on a bit more. But yeah, I'd say Lidl, although they don't do those Nürnberger sausages anymore. I've never seen those. You know, the little sort of the like grey ones from Nuremberg. I love them. Just get some English muffins, fry some of them off, a little bit of mustard or curry ketchup. Chef's kiss. Or would that be Kuche Kuss? I don't know. My German's terrible. But I would say, I know, actually, would I? Lidl has the best sort of like limited and seasonal beer selection if we're going from a beer standpoint. But then again, Aldi's got Rheinbacher. I would say Lidl's got a little bit. It just edges it for me. I like Lidl a little bit more than Aldi, but I love both supermarkets. In fact, I think they're two of the best that you can go to here in the UK. Although I do like Tesco's. I've got a soft spot for Tesco's, but out of Lidl and Aldi, and I know I've not really discussed it too much in depth, but I would say Lidl. Lidl all the way. Seaside Mark reference. So then I've not even had a chance to look at the actual questions that were asked on the video the other day. Adam says, you didn't mention Paul at PA Brewing News. I feel offended for him. He'll get over it. It's fine. He's human scum of the best variety, and I love him for it. Armitage Shanks says his favourite is the Hooligan. Always. Always. Why lie? Why am I lying to everyone? I love the Beer Hooligan. He's got a really good viewpoint on immigration and people dying in the back of lorries. I very much agree with him on that. I love the fact that he bums off Lyle and Scott. His homophobia is just top drawer. And he pulls off that rat nonce look very well. But yeah, good old Armitage. Then we've got another one from Freddy Acrylic. I like small women personally with nice set of tits, tight arse, and don't mind if they are hair shoot. But don't you agree, Fat Munters from Doncaster love it in the dirt box? Fortunately, I've not had the opportunity to have a munter from Doncaster in the dirt box, but just like soiling yourself in Lidl, there's always the potential of a first time of that happening. Then Vanessa says, hi Thomas, but I do like smaller girls. Then Harry says, Armitage, thanks. Nice to see you post again, Rob. Hi, Rob. Hope you're doing well. Let's see. Nice little bit of back and forth between Armitage and Harry. And then we've got a comment from Mersey Beers. Shanks Big D. Then Big D is fine. Hang on, I'm not reading these. Again, they're completely out of sequence, so I do apologise if I'm missing people's comments out, because I want to highlight them and then read them. What's Harry saying there? Peter was born. Big D is fine. Who is Mondo Squalido? And why did you kill him? Basically because YouTube destroyed that channel. And I still, on the email address that was linked to my old channel, I'm still getting emails from YouTube saying, oh, we've removed the thumbnail because it's inappropriate. We've made your video age restricted. You've got a copyright claim. This video is offensive. I'm getting bombarded, even though I've not uploaded for like 3 years, on historical content. And I could have actually been a somewhat semi-decent big YouTuber on my film channel, but the way YouTube has gone with the whole ad apocalypse and all of these, like, is it made for children and stuff like that, even though this kid channel's putting out very questionable content, but with content that's actually aimed at adults that only adults would stumble across, and I get penalised for it. So yeah, YouTube itself killed that channel, and that's the only time I've ever made money on YouTube. And I made over the space, I would say about 2-3 years, I probably made a couple of grand on that channel. I had like 18,000 subscribers, which I know isn't massive, but still. And I think, oh, did I have more subscribers? I did a review of Irreversible that had like 18 million views. But YouTube thought, oh, fuck it, he's making money off this. Let's make it not adults only. Like market inappropriate for children where you can't monetize that content. So those views, YouTube's made a nice little packet off that video. So that's why I killed Mundo Squelligo. And I keep hinting that he will make a return. But we shall see. I would like to actually do some film-related content. So I'm thinking of a podcast that combines beer and films. I know, Lee has his podcast, They Must Be Destroyed on Sight, that sort of does that, but I'm not sure how beer-centric that is. Also, Meat Maniacs that Paul does. But I think that's a good combination of beer and trashy films. So you'll probably see me do a couple of videos on that and then never do them again, because that's how I do YouTube. Then we've got Darren Eves says, do you think the longer you spent in Germany, the more blonde your hair got? I probably came back out of Germany maybe 10% more Aryan. So, and by the way, I actually have creative license to make Jewish jokes because my ex was Jewish and she made jokes about Jewish people. So I can actually, I've earned the right to make jokes about Jewish people. Now you can clip that and put that out of context. Armitage thanks. His eyes got more blue as well. They definitely did. A nicer shade of blue. I'm not saying Nazis have nicer eyes than other races or other people, but yeah. He'll say 9, but he's lying. Yabo. That was completely out of context. Doesn't actually go in line with the rest of that. Let's see. Now I've lost the... Am I looking at that right? Yeah. How would you cope in a zombie invasion? What would you do? Do you know what? I know people would be like going, oh, I'll go to this place and stock up on such and such, or I'll arm myself to the teeth. If it got to that point, I'd be like, what's the point in like surviving? Why not just live as best as you can? Make the most of it. Make the most of all the free stuff that you can get hold of. And just have fun until you get chomped to bits. Because I'm not a fighter. I'm sure I'd be terrible with firearms. But then again, all you need to do is stay high. Like, you could get high as fuck. You'd try every drug in the world, wouldn't you? And any drug you can get hold of. Do all these like experiences that you were too afraid to do in like normal society. So I'd be a dickhead in a zombie apocalypse. I'd be an absolute knobhead. But it's like, the thing is though, right? I've always like seen this, like, oh, we've got to survive and stuff like that in like zombie films, but they never like really address the sort of like mental, like the after effects of what people have seen in a zombie apocalypse. Because watching your family and friends and everyone you care about getting ripped apart by zombies right before your eyes, why would you want to continue and create more civilization? Because that would always be on your mind. You'll never not be able to unsee or feel those experiences. So I'll just go out with a bang. Or just go on a massive bender. Either die as a result of the consumption, or just have fun and think, I can't do this anymore, end it, and use zombie food. I'm not one of these people that let's rebuild civilization. It's like, why? You're probably more likely not going to get killed by another human being than a zombie. So just have as much fun as you can in a zombie apocalypse. And I've lost the comments again because I accidentally pressed the arrow, which took me right down to the bottom. Let's see. Armitage Shanks. I remember it well. Eating your donut. We all know you do, Rob. And only Rob would know about that, by the way. Captain's Meet Adventures to Mosby's. No, Mosby's to Captain. Fuck off. Captain Meets Adventures says that is basically Skelmersdale anyway. Yeah, it's a proper zombie apocalypse in day-to-day life in this shithole. Let's see. Freddy Acrylic says, where do you see yourself in 120 years? The rebirth of the Nazi Party. The Aryan Brotherhood's got to live on. And that's a joke, by the way, if anyone's watching this. It's a shame that in this day and age you have to explain that you've just made a joke and apologise for it beforehand. Which world would you like to live in? This from Captain Meets Adventures. The Blade Runner world or the Alien world? Definitely the Blade Runner world. I've had such a fascinating... The fact that that film was made like 30, 40, maybe... No, yeah, 30, 40 years ago. It's like, is that the early 80s, late 70s? The fact that they managed to pull off what actually felt like an actual place is just absolutely mind-blowing. All the neon lights, the big, billboards on the top of buildings, I need to rewatch Blade Runner, and I need to watch the sequel because that just looks beautiful the way it's shot. So yeah, I'd probably go with the Blade Runner universe, just because it's so visually and aesthetically satisfying. Plus, cheap androids, which is always a good thing. Bluno's Beer Review says, I have 200 rampant line accounts. We know you do, Harry. And I'm clicking on comments again on the phone as opposed to StreamYard. Freddy says, would you rather drink a pint of your enemy's piss while they look you in the eye, or eat a bowl of your own shit while everyone you ever dated watches? I'd probably drink my own piss. Just because you can actually drink your own piss, obviously when you sterilise it and stuff like that. But yeah, the idea of eating shit. Yeah, I think piss wheeze, because you just try and guzzle it down in one. Whereas if you're eating shit, you've actually got to chew it and you've got to taste every sort of squelch and things like that. Plus, it also depends what my enemy would do after I've just drank his piss. But then again, my enemy might be a woman, so you could make it a little bit like make a meal out of it. Who killed Garbino? Says Blue Nose Beer Reviews. He actually uploaded a video fairly recently. I'm sure he did, or I imagined it or dreamt it. But YouTube needs a bit more Garbino. Masked, unmasked, I don't care. But maybe a rival biker gang, I don't know. Then we've got Davor, who says, good evening. I can't even speak. I've had one beer tonight, and I can't speak. On to my second beer, a little bit of a diversion before I read Davor's comment. Got my last can of Brew by Numbers Double IPA 55 Citra and Simcoe. I'm just going to use this glass. Oh, it's already discoloured it. Oh well. See what hazelnut and cacao brings to a hazy IPA. That's good stuff, that. That's really good stuff. That's lovely. But yes, back onto the question, Davo. Good evening, Davo. Hope you're doing well. Most peculiar beer that you've had? That would probably be, off the top of my head, Fry Guy Spearcle Tours. I can't. It was a paella beer, or paella, if you want to. Did they actually say that in Spanish? I don't know. But it was a paella beer, which had olive oil, saffron, and I'm sure it's like cayenne pepper. I can't remember what the base beer itself was, but that was quite peculiar. But the bottle I bought and reviewed while I was in Germany just absolutely exploded everywhere when I opened it. So I had like about that much worth of beer to drink. And when I was actually in Germany, and there was a bottle shop that I went to that I got to know the owners of, called Beretta. And they had a few sort of evenings with different brewers. I got to meet Marcus Hopper from Hopperbräu, I should say. That was good. Does some really nice barrel-aged imperial stouts, by the way, with like really high-quality, peculiar whiskey. Who else did I meet? The guy from Steamworks from Canada. He was cool. But I actually got to meet, and I've met him a few times actually over the years when I was in Germany, Sebastian from Fry Guy Spearcle Tour, one of the most creative brewers that I've ever met. And he actually had a few bottles for this sort of like taste with the brewer event that they had. And every bottle did the exact same thing, just absolutely spouted out. I don't know, do I actually have that review on YouTube? I can't remember. But yeah, that was quite peculiar. The fact that it literally had olive oil and saffron in it. But it worked, from what I remember. It was definitely interesting. Either that or another one, I think it was Fry Guy Spearcle Tour, Yankee und Kraut, and Pirate Brew Berlin did a spicy tomato beer. That was quite peculiar. Or we could go to Lindemans and McKellar with the Spontan Basil, which tasted like pesto beer. But I've not really had too many peculiar beers, funny enough. So, not the most exciting of answers, but I do appreciate the question, Davo. Captain's, I keep saying Captain's Meat. Captain Meat's Adventure says, who should be the ultimate ruler, Count Binface or Lord Buckethead? I'm going to say Lord Buckethead because I don't know who either person is, but I like the sound of Lord Buckethead a lot more. And I've instantly become congested, and I don't know why. It's not Rona, trust me. Then Armted Shank says, Hopsy, Peter, Pretty Patel, and a wheelbarrow full of donuts. Call me after this stream. I think that's the first thing I'm going to do. Oh, fucking hell, what's happened to my nose? That's the first thing I'm going to do when we can actually go outside. I mean, if we're on the Isle of Man, or is it the Isle of Wight? I can't remember. What's that island that's part of the Northwest where they're just back to normal? They're just back to normal, doing day-to-day things with no restrictions at all. And then here on the mainland, where we've not got webs between our fingers, we're still having to, be shut-ins. I've lost my place on this. But yeah, Lord Buckethead. I've already answered that. So, where's that? Thomas, Window Beer Reviews. Thomas, Independence, Scotland, yes or no? See, I'm I'm not going to lie, I'm not too sure how we would be directly affected if Scotland were independent or weren't. I think for Scotland itself, being independent would be better. I mean, we've seen as being part of the EU, there are some very shady leaders involved in the EU. And the way they've behaved towards the UK and England specifically after Brexit has been absolutely disgusting. So I kind of like that idea of a country being independent. But because I'm not living in Scotland or Scottish, I don't really know how that would really pan out, to be honest. But I think on the surface, yeah, why not? If that's what people want, then that's what should happen in a, with a democratic vote. And that's as serious as I'm going to get. But I love that question. I love questions like that. Who would be a worse dad? Boris, the Trump, or King Herod? I'd probably say King Herod, because Boris is he's just a fool. I bet he's good with kids. Not in like the Edward Heath way, but I reckon he's good with kids because he's a bit of a bozo. Trump, I mean, he doesn't have to be a good dad. He could just shovel money towards me. Do you know what I mean? I could have the worst dad in the world, but if he's just funneling all his cash into me and letting me have whatever I wanted, I'm probably going to grow up to be, the biggest arsehole and emotionally corrupt person. But money solves a lot of problems, and it can actually distract you from your situation. King Herod. See, I'm having a bit of a brain fart, and I don't fully know who King Herod is. So, by process of elimination, I'm going to say the worst dad is going to be Boris, because he can't run a country, let alone father a child. Freddy Acrylic says, nicest possible way. I'm not sure what that's in reference to. I'm a little bit behind. But yeah, it is the nicest possible way. Then we've got 24-hour nonce watch, who says, hi, Clues Drinker. Does Ryan Chan the Ball nonce come round here? If not, can you give a warning against his presence because he's an online groomer? I've been seeing a lot of stuff like that about Mr. Chan. See, these groups who I'm not actually involved in, I do watch. I like watching all the stuff from like Veli, Kitty, Lisa, Danalytical Therapy. It's just so interesting watching that sort of stuff. But I've been seeing a lot of things about Mr. Chan. Is it actually true? Like, is there actual evidence of his grooming? Because I'm really fascinated. Because if so, then fuck him, because I've got a zero tolerance for people like that. I've watched way too many non-stings and and researched into all these horrific things at like children's homes and stuff with politicians and things like that. So it's one of those things that I can't escape. Do you know what I mean? I'm always sort of like reading articles or watching, as said, stings. But yeah, I've been hearing stuff about Mr. Chan being a groomer because they sort of used that meme of that bald nonce. I can't remember what his name is. And that guy saw him in a toilet, like a public toilet once, then he did a video with him there. But yeah, he don't. I don't think I've never talked to him, to be honest. as I said, those sorts of circles are more of just a viewer as opposed to being fully invested in that. Although I do talk to a few people involved in that and have had interactions with those circles. But yeah, even like stuff like the PJ and what's his face? I can't remember. Stuart Longlegs or something like that. The sort of like the rocker guy, and then you've got Pat Mustard and who else? Mongo. But yeah, it's just, you know, it's going to be a fun video when there's actually no video, just a black screen and someone talking about someone else. That is such, it's like a genre in itself, isn't it? It's like an aesthetic on YouTube, and I absolutely love it. Even though 9 times out of 10, I don't know the context of the situation. But as I said, yeah, I've heard things about him a lot recently, but I wouldn't be able to say for sure. Harry from Balloons Beer Review says, Irreversible, what a film, great soundtrack. Yeah, man, that is just like a sucker punch of a film from start to finish. And Thomas Bangalter's score for that film is just absolutely awesome. Especially the song "The Rectum," or is it just called Rectum, which is the name of the gay club from the film. Such a vicious, mean-spirited film. I love Gaspar Noé. Let's see. We've got another comment. The funny thing is, right, I'm seeing like the odd message being retracted on the actual YouTube stream, but it doesn't actually show you messages. It shows you the messages that have actually been retracted on the comments feed on StreamYard. Interesting. So ABCDEFGH says, "Are you a libertarian or right wing?" I asked because I saw the snake flag, which is over here. I would definitely say I'm libertarian. I know there are very negative connotations with the "Don't Tread on Me" flag. I've not fully looked into the actual historical significance, but I would definitely say. Plus, I don't know this. I just like it. I don't, the negative sort of stuff when people use it in a negative way. I really do not agree with right wing politics. I think there's some very, very dangerous people, but at the same time, and this is the libertarian coming out, I think there's just an equally dangerous, if not more, extreme left. I mean, a lot of the censorship that's happening now is primarily left leaning. And I do get these sorts of things asked quite a lot, because a lot of people will, because I do tend to post more about leftist stuff that I disagree with. And that's primarily because we know the right wing is awful. And there's just an obscene amount of ugliness on the right wing. We know that, so me posting about that doesn't add anything to a conversation that's already been having. But if I see some equally like systematic problems, because I think the left is just as racist as the right a lot of the time. The right are like judging people, pointing fingers because they're a different colour, different creed, different race, different gender, whereas the left sort of tends to treat people like they're endangered species, like their own voice doesn't matter. It's like, don't worry, we'll fight for you. Oh, you don't know what you're talking about. This is what this person means. They look down to you, that sort of stuff. And there's a lot of ugliness on both sides. So I would definitely say, if I was to fall in line with a political party and political ideals, it would definitely be libertarian. But the sad thing is, libertarians do get mocked a lot, and I don't think unless people are a little bit more open and can just accept some uncomfortable truths, don't know what it is, then I think that the Libertarian Party will probably never really be taken as seriously as they should. But yeah. So I do get that a lot. People do sometimes think my viewpoints can be, but it's just like that. I've got viewpoints that are very or moderate to very left leaning, and there are sometimes I can have some what people consider right wing views. But my viewpoints are never discriminatory. I think my views are. I'd like to think anyway. They have foundations in common sense and rationality. And I think too many people, both on the left and the right, they think way too much with this as opposed to thinking with this. So, yeah, that's. I hope that's answered the question. And then ABCDEFGL says stay high, which for some reason the message was retracted. So, here's another one. I tell you what, I've been really enjoying Friends. So I've been enjoying all the comments and questions, but Friend Sunset, some of the topics have been absolutely bang on. Who is your favourite beer can artist? Well, I'm a big fan of Kev Gray, as you can see from the can, and also the T-shirt that I'm wearing. I've always been fascinated by his artwork. But then you've got Keith Shaw from Mikola. I love Mikola's branding. I love Casper Leeditz, however you say it, from 2.0, especially sort of like photographic sort of labels, which you know you can fall into the trap saying, oh well, it's stupid. I could take a photo like that, but no, you can't. There's actual thought that goes into these sorts of things. So it's not just about, oh, I could paint a squiggle on a canvas. Yeah, there are pieces of art where I think that's fucking stupid. But if you're stupid enough to pay millions of dollars for like a shit splatter on a painted canvas, then do you know what? You've got more money than sense. But a lot of times when people say, oh, I could easily do that. No, you couldn't, because you've got to actually think about where you want to put stuff. And that's what I like about Casper Leeditz work, because it's ever, if I remember correctly, each piece has something that's just ever so slightly out of place, and I kind of like that. So yeah, Kev Gray, Casper Leeditz, what's his name? Not Rick Shaw from Mikola. I've just instantly forgot his name. But who else? I like Carl Grandin from Omnipollo. Their beers can be very hit and miss, but I do like the striking artwork. And there's some other people I can't think of. What's his face who did a lot for Left Handed Giant? Something Yeo. I can't remember his name. See, artworks I can remember, but the artists themselves, I tend to forget. Whiplash, Stephanie. Oh my god, I can't remember her name. But I'd probably say Mikola for me is my favourite beer branding, and Rick Shaw, Keith Shaw from Mikola is probably my favourite beer can artist. I've got enough comment from ABCDEFG. Oh, these comments are 20 minutes old. I think you need to answer more present. Are you criticising me, ABCDEFGH? Let's see. What are your thoughts on the 48? Would that be trillion, billion? I'm not too sure. I can't actually count the individual zeros. Kangaroos in Australia. If they decided to revolt and attack Uruguay, there would be 16 kangaroos to only one human. Well, I'm glad you worked out that as opposed to me. But yeah, kangaroos are bastards. They're absolute bastards. Captain Meets Adventure says, if you were turned into the human centipede, who would you want to be with you and where would you want to be? Well, you've got to look at it in terms of life experiences. If you're in the middle, you're sort of like, you're getting the best of both worlds. So you're giving, but you're also taking at the same time. So I think I'd definitely be in the middle. The people who I would have in front of me and behind me. Behind me, definitely Harry from Blue Nose Beer Reviews. That's a given. And then in front of me, the exhumed corpse of Serge Gainsbourg. And that's who I would have. Jimmy Osho, the legend that is Jimmy, says, fancy jumping on. Oh, hang on a minute. Fancy jumping on StreamYard in a bit, mate. I might do, actually. It depends how long this goes on for. But if you've got a link, I'll try and jump on, because it's been a hell of a long time since we've caught up. But thank you for stopping by, sir. Hope you're doing all right. I just realised I said bye, sir. Like, bye, no. Sebastian Schauer is a really passionate brewer. Met him twice down here in Slovenia. Yeah, he's been all over the place. He really, really has. I met him a few times at the Regensburg Craft Beer Festival. And yeah, I just love his approach. And he collaborates with breweries who you've never really heard before, and you're thinking, how did you get into contact with that brewery? But yeah, I've got a lot of love for Sebastian, and he's just a good brewer. Sometimes you'll get beers that don't work really well, too much, but I like the creativity. Captain Meets Adventures says, would you like a proper medical scientist to attach beer giant glands to your body that allows you to milk beer? Fucking sign me up, mate. And Jimmy says, I'm going live now anyway, mate. Jump on later if you fancy. I will definitely try my best. Mind you, we're coming up to the last of the stream comments. Darren Eves says, do you have a pub shed? No, we don't. But during the first lockdown, I really didn't have too much hand in the actual construction of it because, well, I was working from home, and I'm the least manliest man, as you can probably tell. So I let other people do the work, and I just take the credit for it. So I don't have a pub shed, but we do have an outside bar under a gazebo, which we're thinking of sort of somehow enclosing it, because the gazebo is absolutely fucked from some of the weather that we've had recently. Captain Meats Beer says, is it true that clumping is putting ice cream cake in your underwear, sitting on it and rubbing it in someone's face? I can't answer that, but I'll have to look into that one, because that sounds like an interesting time. 24-hour nonce watch says, yes, it's true. Chan is a nonce. If a nonce gets exposed on here, he befriends them. Oh, really? I'll have to look into that saga. I really, really, really will. I have to. Do you have videos on your channel, 24-hour nonce watch? Because I'd be interested to watch if you've got any content. I don't know. I've got this sort of like, it's not like a morbid curiosity, but when it comes to like sort of pedo stings, I don't know. There's just something. It makes me feel sick knowing that there are people out there, and not just like people in like privileged positions and in high power, but there's just day-to-day people who are doing these awful things to what they think are children, and a lot of the times to actual children. So yeah, that's yeah, as I said, I've been hearing stuff about Mr. Chan. Let's see. Oh, Hopseed's got a nice question. Who has got the best bum in vintage porn? My vote goes to Nina Hartley. Interesting. I can't remember what her name is, but she was in Pretty Peaches. She's always a good shout because she's quite curvy. Didn't like when she had a bob hairstyle. Desiree Cousteau, if I remember correctly. Or Ginger Lynn when she was in her prime. Mind you, that was more towards the sort of video era, wasn't it? So would you really class that vintage? Yeah, I'm going to say Desiree Cousteau. And if you want to see a good film, there was the Hot and Spicy Pizza Girls. That was a good one. She was nice in that. And also Pretty Peaches, which is just a classic in its own right. But Nina Hartley, that's a good shout. Very good shout. I need to get back into my vintage porn. And it's not let me actually click on this comment because it just keeps... There we go. Let's see. Captain Meets Adventure says, if you took a man and put a pig's brain inside their head and put the human brain in the pig, what would happen? You can tell that I'm trying to think of something witty to say to that one. I don't know. I had an idea in my head, but it's completely gone. You've stumped me with that one. Absolutely stumped me. And then Rob from Hopsine says, would you prefer handmade of ham or a tit that dispense talcum powder? Handmade of ham, because if you get a bit peckish, do you know what I mean? It's just there, isn't it? Just awkwardly eat your hand in front of someone. Captain Meets Adventures says David Cameron would like ham hands. See, I was trying to think of a David Cameron joke when you were talking about the pig's brain. Maybe the pig could get revenge. Sort of like a weird, very specific Freaky Friday. And then, who is more scary? Oh, a 7-foot wasp or purple Aki? I actually think that purple Aki is just very misunderstood. I mean, luckily he wouldn't piss on me if I was on fire because I don't have muscles for him to grab. But mind you, a 7-foot wasp will be absolutely fucking terrifying. But yeah, I've been hearing loads of people saying, oh, purple Aki, he's harmless. But he literally made a young boy or like a teenager run onto train tracks and get killed or something like that. Yeah, I've heard some funny stories about purple Aki from prison. Basically on the All or Nothing podcast, which is hosted by, I can't remember what his name is, but they made a film about him because he went to a prison in Thailand and he was made to fight. Oh my god, what's he called? That Scouser. But he does the All or Nothing podcast, which is probably one of my favourite podcasts, and a few of his guests seem to have purple Aki stories. They're always entertaining. Definitely always entertaining. And I'd love to see purple Aki on a podcast. So I'm actually going to go for a 7-foot wasp because that sounds fucking terrifying anyway. Then, should nonces be dealt with the Witchfinder General? That'll be a novel way to deal with them. Seeing Vincent Price actually dealing with nonces who have been stung. That'll definitely make the film interesting, wasn't it? Although I say that, I've never actually watched The Witchfinder General, and I need to get around to watching that. But it's not. Do you know what? Yeah, I'd like to see them being treated like that. And then he says, Dustin Dim. Can't believe it. Dustin Diamond has died. He was not saved by the bell. Has he actually just died? Let me have a look. Not that I don't believe you. Dustin Diamond. Oh, fucking hell, he has. 44? I thought he was well older than that. Cancer, Jesus. Fucking hell, rest in peace, Screech, even though from the sounds of it, you became quite a piece of shit afterwards, but still, that's no way to go, is it, really? God, that's fucking awful. Billionaire Spear Review says, favourite film on Movies for Men. I've not watched that channel for absolutely years, mate. Some good war stories during the afternoon, and then some nice erotic thrillers to see you through the evening. Like Emmanuel 10, Emmanuel in Space, or something like that. I'm sure I've seen an Emmanuel film that's like centered around virtual reality. Do you know what? I should be making money from this. I should be eligible for super chats for this. But that's going to be a long way off before I can ever profit off this channel. So since we've actually come to the end of the stream comments, which, by the way, don't feel the need to stop if you've got any questions to ask. Harry says carnal knowledge. We'll just keep that on the stream. So people who are coming in stream and not realising what we've just been talking about will just see carnal knowledge written on the bottom left-hand corner. So since it's a little bit quiet, we'll see what comments and questions we have on the video that I uploaded last night, asking people to send their comments. I think a few people have actually commented already, but we'll do that anyway. So we've got a comment from Matthew Barker. I keep saying comments, I mean question. Comment from Matthew Barker, and I'm keeping it on highlighted so I know where to actually carry on reading comments. What do you think to Brexit messing up our 2-all and Michaela Club and Michaela? What do you think to Brexit messing up our 2-all and Michaela clubs? It pretty much makes it impossible now. £30 postage is crazy, and then you might get hit with fees on top. All I can say to that is I'm glad I didn't reinstate my Michaela Beer Club subscription. I mean, the 2-all stuff, today, it was either today or yesterday, I got my refund for the January box. So I think for the foreseeable future, they are just completely stopping sending to the UK. I know a few people have received their boxes. But yeah, I'm sure Adam was telling me when it comes to the Michaela stuff, they're actually sort of sending it to the brew pub in London, so they can sort of miss out some of the like legalities and bureaucracy. But yeah, it does suck because they're really good boxes. But at the same time, I think it sort of gives you a little bit more of a reason to focus on some of the domestic breweries. And if you want to get a sort of like subscription service, there are quite a few. And I'm sure, especially in a localized sort of sense, I'm sure your local bottle shop, there's a slight chance that they might be doing sort of subscription services. I mean, you could also do Beer 52 if you wanted to. But yeah, it does suck, especially if you've been a long-standing subscriber to all of a sudden you're not able to actually get those boxes. And linked to that, it's going to be a pain in the arse if you wanted to order directly as well. But yeah, I'm sure Nicola were using their London premises as a way to actually have beer sent internally. And then obviously they forward it on to the subscribers. And you'd like to think that they'd let Tuol use that as well, since the guys at Tuol are essentially people who were taught by Mickle at Nicola. But yeah, it's a strange situation, and I'd be interested to see how other sort of things in the beer world are affected for us in here in the UK. But on the bright side, we've got some of the best breweries in the world producing some of the best beers in the world. So yeah, so I think it's a good time to champion your local brewer or brewery. But it still sucks. It still sucks arse in a bad way. Let's see what other comments we've got. Tuesday, perfect day to go Mad Dog 2020 UK Drinkers Challenge, says Freddy Acrylic. I need to get involved in that sort of stuff. I'm just going off the questions that were asked on the video that I uploaded yesterday. Let's see. Adam from Mosebeers says, can you explain your obsession with a crown-clad, obese, offensive YouTube streamer who asks, why don't you show me? And also explain why won't they show him? That would be the legend, very questionable legend, King Ian Moore, who I cannot stop watching. And every day I'm searching to see what videos people have made about him. Basically, to put it in a nutshell, he was a guy who was on TikTok who would primarily he'd just like basically buy stuff from Greggs or Domino's, and that was his shtick. He would eat it on camera, and he'd eat a lot because he's a big boy. But then there was a bit of a controversy because he like sent dirty messages, voice clips to a kid who's like 15 or something like that. I don't know the ins and outs. So he got trolled to shit, to the point where his like merch store was being attacked and his like Linktree accounts and stuff. And he'd do like paid shout outs and stuff like that, and dance and make weird noises and go, silly boy, you silly boy. Definitely look up some of the compilation videos of him, because he just does. Basically, the reason why I'm sort of fascinated is he'll start off a stream, just a live stream, like he's talking to his audience, he's like replying to comments, he's doing shout outs, and then like about 2/3 into it, he'll be pissed and he'll be calling women who've made videos about him. He's like called them like slags and sluts, and he always like whenever anyone trolls him, he always resorts to like, I'm gonna fuck your mum's dirty box and I'm gonna put my cheesy, that sort of stuff. Like really fucking vile and foul things to say to anyone, but it's morbidly interesting. And there's been times, because he describes himself as a straight acting gay man. So there'll be points in some of his live streams where, because he's doing it through YouTube Live, but he'll get his tablet and he'll get his StreamYard going, where he can get people coming in onto his stream. And he's not done it for a while, to be fair to him, but he just proper dirty talks these guys. And it's so fascinating to watch. It's like the most horrific yet interesting car crash you've ever seen. And yeah, some of the sound bites and clips you can get from his streams are just absolutely priceless. So that's why I'm obsessed with him, Adam. Then we've got Brett from Beardy Beer Reviews says, any ideas what you're doing once COVID shit has been resolved and taken care of? Well, one of the big things is being able to see some of the Beertuber guys who I pretty much talk to on a daily basis. I've met with time before, who I consider some of my closest friends. I'm not sure if it's going to really happen now, but there's a specific someone who I was hopefully going to be able to meet up with, but yeah, it's a bit of a grey area at the moment because obviously the COVID situation, you can't meet up with anyone. But let's just say she's a very special person, but due to circumstances, the whole COVID stuff, and then each of our own personal circumstances, that's really put a halt on things, which is fucking hard because, yeah, we won't get into that. But yeah, it's just when there's like that, just that one person who you want to actually spend time with, but you just can't, and it fucking eats away at you. A lot of people are going through that. Not just in a sort of like romantic sort of way, but also, people are not able to see elderly relatives who are literally dying, and people have not been able to, visit their like terminally ill relatives or friends or spouses, or do you know what I mean? It's just fucking awful, isn't it? So yeah, the first thing I'm going to do is hopefully I'll be able to meet up with this certain someone, but also to meet up with, my beer brothers and like my friends from here as well. And it's just, but at the same time, I'm not really going to rush out to go drink. I don't miss that. I don't miss going to the pub. I don't miss going to bars. Do you know what I mean? And I think there's a lot of people out there who are like, they've got this tunnel vision of like, oh, I miss going to the pub with my mates. I mean, yeah, going to the pub for a lot of people is an escape. It's sort of like, oh, I get to just see people who I care about and just want to enjoy a drink with. I get that. I completely get that. And there's a big part of me that misses that. But I'm not missing going out getting pissed. Do you know what I mean? So, but at the same time, even when we can go out, I'm probably going to still be quite anxious, if that makes sense. I'm not going to be used to actually going about our daily business. It's going to be weird not having, I think we'll have to wear masks for a long time, and I think social distancing will still be in effect in some regard, and there will be some sort of restrictions for places that you go to. But it's still going to be so fucking weird to get back to that. I'm so used to the way life is now. It's strange, and I don't like it. I don't like how comfortable and used to it that I am, if that makes sense. But yeah, I just want to meet up with the people who I miss, and do you know what I mean? That's probably the first thing I'm going to do. I'm not going to jet off to some other country or anything like that. Because you just don't know how safe it's going to be, really. But yeah, I just want to share good times, good memories, eat good food, drink good alcohol, go to some awesome places with the people who I really care about. So I think that's what I'm going to do fundamentally. But there is that one person who, mate, I just wish all of this shit would just disappear. Do you know what I mean? And I've not felt like this for absolutely ages, but it's mental that this shit happens in the middle of a world pandemic. And I feel so sorry for people who aren't able to see their spouses at this time. It's mental, absolutely mental. So fuck it, I'm just going to move to the island, man, because they can go about the business as usual. See, Hatto also actually commented on that video yesterday saying, how did you end up living in Germany and why did you return to UK? I think I've realised who that person is. Is that Chris? Is that Chris who's been watching my stream and I've just been talking to as if he wasn't Chris? Brian Ruster asks, what do you make of the beer hooligan? A fucking prick, if I'm brutally honest. Then I got a couple of comments from Pete Swift. I'll start with the oldest one. I found out about you via Jimmy O's podcast. How do you two know each other? Funny enough, I think we got started talking to each other through Stuart, aka Ginger Ale Ale, because I don't know how the fuck he got to know Jimmy O, the Wigan Joker, is just, I can't grasp how that situation came about. Do you want to come to Wigan and have a few drinks with me? And like she was like, yeah. I don't know how that came about, but I fucking love it. And I don't know, I can't pinpoint that moment when me and Jimmy started talking to each other. But it's great to see you, Pete, if you're watching this. But yeah, I don't know. That's it. We just through someone else on YouTube, and then we got talking. He liked the stuff that I was posting. I really enjoyed some of his stuff. In fact, I enjoyed most of his stuff, even like the more sort of like controversial things, because he's just a good person. And he's just got a natural sense of humour, which is apparently offensive nowadays. But yeah, that was probably one of the best things was going on the Jimmy O podcast. And I will be returning at some point. I'm not too sure if I will actually be joining later on tonight because it's quarter to 11 already. But I may pop in a little bit later. Pete also asked, do you think the beer 52 monthly subscription value for money? It's 30 quid. I think it's a bit steep for nice beer. There's loads of decent beers in the supermarket for a fraction of the price. If you'd have asked me that about a year and a half ago, I'd have said fuck beer 52. But I think they've definitely upped their game somewhat in the past year or so. But at the same time, it is quite expensive. And you could pay a little bit more for a different subscription and get infinitely more unique and better beers. But yeah, the supermarkets nowadays, do you know what? You could probably, if you wanted to, just drink supermarket beer and have good beer consistently. Especially the likes of Tesco's, Morrison's. I know Marks and Spencer's have an interesting range. Sainsbury's are ever expanding. Sometimes Aldi and Lidl will have some good beers. Don't know why I did that gesture, but hey ho. Booths, if you're in the northwest, that's probably my favourite supermarket for range of beers. And you could pretend that you own a farm when you go in there because it is full of fucking poncy arseholes with not Harrington jackets. What are those shepherd's jackets that were dead popular like 3 or 4 years ago? But yeah, I think the supermarket stuff has definitely upped their game a hell of a lot. But Beer 52, they have their moments. That's what I would say. But bang for buck, you do sometimes get a little bit disappointed. But the last few boxes I've had have been really good. So I'd always recommend trying one of their free boxes, which is essentially you get beers, but you have to pay delivery. It's always worth giving them a go, especially when you get a good discount. And then maybe try a one full price box and then make a decision after that. But yeah, Beer 52, they're not too bad, but they can be a little bit disappointing sometimes. But for the most part, I don't really think it's value for money. Of all the different ways of cooking potatoes, which is your favourite to eat? That's a very good fucking question. Because I love potatoes. Fundamentally, potatoes are wonderful no matter how you cook them. Not the biggest fan of jacket potatoes, I'm not going to lie. But then again, I'm the sort of person who likes like the instant mash pots. There's just something about instant mash pot with the what's it called? With the crispy onions, which you get from Home and Bargains. Chef's kiss. That's my Bourdain, Anthony Bourdain moment right there. But my actual favourite way to make potatoes, I fucking love roast potatoes. Roast potatoes, if you get a good quality roast potato and you cook it right, there is nothing better. Sort of maybe just scratch the surfaces with your fork before you part boil them, just so there's like they sort of like crisp on the sort of like the edges of the slices. You don't have to resort to getting dripping or goose fat. Just some good vegetable oil, flora vegetable oil. That's all you need. It's what I don't know. It's the quality of the potato, but yeah, I don't really discriminate against different types of potato. I do enjoy Hasselback potatoes, which is very poncy. Also, part boiling baby potatoes, then slicing them and then frying them up with a bit of scrambled egg. Fucking hell, that's good. Boiled potatoes are always good. Mashed potatoes, classic. Then if you've got some leftover mashed potato, which by the way, if you've got leftover mashed potato, you've not done it properly because you should have eaten all the mashed potato. I don't get it when you see these people who've got leftover roast dinner, and I'm like, no potatoes, meat, veg, Yorkshires, or anything are getting left behind. I'm demolishing them all. There's no way I will leave any part of a roast dinner. So I don't get people who do, but then again, there's something really satisfying about reheated roast dinners, and it always reminds me of going to my my grandma's house on my dad's side, because we'd go with my dad, me and my younger brother, and then we'd have our roast dinner, and then there'd always be a portion for my mum when we came back. And there's something so satisfying, and this is why roast potatoes are the ultimate. Roast potatoes when they've cooled down, don't reheat them. Do not reheat them. Just eat them. Like pick them out of the congealed gravy and just stuff it in your mouth. Get your fingers dirty and your mouth just covered in gravy. Mate, it's beautiful. They take on a flavour when they've sort of like firmed up and cooled down. So yeah, I think roast potatoes are the ultimate potato. But then again, I'm not going to turn down chips, fries, mash, leftover mash that's fried up the next day, potato cakes. It's just jacket potatoes. I don't know. I just don't like jacket potatoes. But yeah, so we've got all the the questions from the video itself, but I'm not going to lie, I am really craving a piss. So if you can just bear with me 1 second, I'm going to turn the camera and the mic off, and I'm going to have a piss, and I'll be right back, and then we'll answer some questions, and I'm probably going to have to call it a day. But I've really enjoyed this. I've really enjoyed it. I thought nobody would be watching this. I'd have no questions to answer. But you've kept me really entertained for a Monday evening. So thank you so much for all you guys who've joined. I think James, Rampant Lion Beer Reviews, might be live now, which is an infinitely more interesting live stream. But I do wholeheartedly appreciate each and every one of you who's watching now, has watched earlier, who will watch later when it's uploaded to YouTube, and of course people who've actually asked questions. I'd like to do this on a semi-regular basis as well. So anyway, it sounds like I'm ending the stream now. I'm not. I'm just going to have a piss. I'm going to take this scarf off because we're indoors. Nobody needs to wear a scarf indoors. Just got the 20% battery notification. So yeah, and I'll probably have 1 more beer, and then we'll call it a night. So be right back. It's a shame I don't have that. Do you know what? We'll get that whole music going. Probably get copyright striked, but doesn't matter. What's it called? Royalty free. Oh, it's already there. Top thing on my history search. So I'll be right back. It means I have to keep my microphone, so you might hear me piss. So I do apologise. So I basically told him, you either stick 2 things up there or no things at all. And he soon walked away. Yeah, see you later, mate. Yeah. Alright, cheers. Yeah, love you too. Hope you guys didn't hear that. And that was improvised comedy, which you probably couldn't hear because I think the speaker was too close. But yeah, anyway, I'm back. Hope you enjoyed the incidental music there between the stream, and I have to get back to my actual stream so I can read the comments. I actually hope you really didn't hear me piss then, because that would be very awkward. And I'll just have to see where the comments are. Carnal knowledge, that's where we stopped. So Captain Meets Adventures, I know we're a little behind now, says, which be worse, Marlon Brando butter time for Fun in Paris or being fisted by Chuck Norris? Probably fisted by Chuck Norris, because you wouldn't live to tell the tale and have to relive such an horrific event. But what's that thing? Something mention. Honourable mention, the fisting scene in Caligula. The butter inspired me. That's a good film, by the way, Caligula, if you've not seen it. I've not actually seen Last Tango in Paris. I may need to rectify that, and I need something to actually open this bottle of beer. Oh, there we go. But yeah, thank you everyone for joining me this evening. One of the skills I learned in Germany is using inanimate objects to open beer bottles. Pour this. I'm sure people were watching this expecting a car crash. And you've probably got a mild car crash or a little bit of a bump. But yeah, I'm having the Weizenbock from Free Assembly. This is clocking in at 7.2% ABV. Not my favourite of the box styles, but any box good for me. Oh, clovey. Oh, no. Not a fan of that, but I'll drink it. But yeah, nobody needs to be fisted by Chuck Norris. Then we've got Martin Simon. Ah, clever. Who says, funny how Armitage left and then Hopsine turned up. We all know. It's not a secret anymore. We just need Rob to be honest. Captain meets Adventurous. If you could have animal legs attached to your body, which animal you going for? I've got thick thighs, so I'll probably go for a horse's legs because they get a little bit thicker at the top. If you could try and throw a person from Dover to Calais, who are you throwing? I'm just going to say it, fucking Beer Hooligan, because he'd be absolutely shitting himself if he was in Calais, because doesn't tend to like people who aren't the same pigment as him. And I'd imagine he's got a lot of things to say about people who reside in Calais, who may not be of French origin. But yeah, these petty digs against Beer Hooligan, definitely worth it. Captain Meets Adventures also says, do you think a TV program where celebrities have to wear trousers made of bacon and are dangled over a pit of crocodiles would be good TV? Yes. In fact, you could just make a show of just Gemma Collins hung over some crocodiles in bacon pants. But yeah, I think that would be really good. I think we need to go full battle royale with celebrities now. Rory says, what's this about Mikola? Apparently, they're really struggling to being able to deliver to the UK. Oh god, this is too clovey. It's definitely a Weizenbock. But I'm sure it was Adam who told me they've been sort of like diverting their mailings to the brew pub in London. So then they've got a more of a domestic way to ship beers. I don't know actually. We'll have to look into it because yeah, it would be a shame if they had to completely stop doing that. Captain Meats also says, what would happen if you put Jacob Rees-Mogg in a room and dropped 1,000 scorpions into the room? What would happen? I think Rees-Mogg would be his charming, eloquent self, and then he would just be covered in swellings and then eventually die of poison. Which, it's going to sound crazy, but Jacob Rees-Mogg, in a weird way, is probably one of the very few likable Tories. I don't know, there's something about... I think the idea of Jacob Rees-Mogg makes me like him as opposed to him as a person. But yeah, I'm sure he'd charm those scorpions to death. Let's see. And then we've got Ron's Beer Reviews and Tools, who says, hello, hello, hello all, cheers. Cheers, Ron. Hope you're doing well. Let's see. Captain's Meets Adventures says cottaging or felching. I would actually go for cottaging because that sounds a lot nicer right now. UK Stream Community says, hi bro, Ryan Chan vids are on this channel. I shall definitely be making a note of that. UK Streaming Community. Yeah, the hashtag YTDC. Interesting stuff. Then we've got Milk Carton 01 who says, talk us through the snake poster. We have slightly addressed this before. I know that the Don't Tread on Me flag has a few negative connotations, especially since some questionable people have adopted that flag. But as far as I'm concerned, it's got a lot of, it's steeped in libertarianism of individuals who are sick and tired of governments overstepping their boundaries when we are the people who actually elect them, and therefore they are people who should be doing our bidding. So I get it. I get it. Don't Tread on Me can be a bit problematic. But for me, fundamentally, and I'm happy for people to disagree with me or provide me with viewpoints that go against this. But it's just about, I'm an individual. So let me be an individual. Stop telling me what I can and can't do. Stop living my life for me. And if I'm going to make certain life choices, that's my decision. So that's an abridged version, and there's a little bit tipsy version. Blue Nose Beer says, us Irish love tatties. Yeah, we know you've got your family home near White Hag. No need to rub it in, Harry. Then we've got Captain Meets Adventures. What would you do for a Jim will fix it badge? Whatever the fuck Jim would want to do to him. Always great when a family member walks in as you're making a jokey Jimmy Savile comment. I think that's my cue to actually wrap this up. I'm not sure what you saw or heard then, but oh well. What would you do for a Jim will fix it badge? I'll just lay on a slab and let Jim have his way with me, which is what he was quite partial to doing. But yeah, I kind of want a Jim will fix it badge. See, that's the thing, right? We all know Jimmy Savile is just, it was an evil monster. We will never fully know or realise the extent of his monstrosity. Bear with me 1 sec. But yeah, we all know Jimmy Savile is a monster. Wouldn't that be a great way to open up a video? But I still do enjoy a good Jimmy Savile impression, and I do like Jimmy Savile related jokes. And I'd love if someone's actually made a pin badge of the Jim will fix it sort of thing you got. I would happily buy that. There's just something fundamentally, I think everyone should be against child molesters, paedophiles, people who dig up children's bodies and desecrate them with the penis. But there's something a little bit darkly funny about Jimmy Savile. And that took a bit of a dark turn, so we'll swiftly move on. Have a joint of beef. What's your suggestions for this? I've noticed that my YouTube has just gone back to showing top comments. Joint of beef. What I would say is sear it in some garlic butter, because garlic butter just makes everything taste better. And then slow cook it in a doppelbock over a sort of a bedding of onions, potatoes, and carrots, and then just let it cook slowly, and then add maybe a beef stock. Cheat a little, put some bisto in there as well, but just slow cook it, and then just pull it apart. Or you could just cook it in the oven and have it that way. Tom Kerridge, I am not. If Pretty knocked on your door and asked for no string attached sex, but was on the blob, would you go for it? Only if she brought her own towel. Because I'm not going to dirty my bedding. Also, I'm not going to waste one of my towels and having Tory period blood on it. But yeah, just put a towel down. Happy days. And Harry Bloomsbury Review says, "You're my white hag." So do you know what? I'm going to end on a high. Those are two classic comments. That was supposed to be my own Partridge impression. But yeah, I've enjoyed this. I've really, really enjoyed this. I know some of the questions have been taking the piss, tongue in cheek, but I love that. You've got to learn a little bit more about me. We got a little bit personal. We went through an emotional journey. We're gonna work that out. We're gonna go to some meetings and have some therapy, and then yeah, cool, yeah, totally. We'll talk about our feelings. But yeah, I really enjoyed this, and I hope you guys enjoyed it too. The fact that I've been able to do this for over 2 hours tells me that some people are interested. See, I don't care if people troll the shit out of me with stuff like this. It entertains me. I've enjoyed the questions. I've enjoyed the company. What the fuck else are you going to do on a Monday evening? So yeah, I've really enjoyed this. So if you'd like me to do this like maybe once every 2 weeks or so, just having a bit of a laugh. We can get serious if we want to. We can get bogged down in politics and identity and stuff like that. Completely up to you. But no, I've really enjoyed this. So appreciate each and every one of you guys for stopping by, asking comments. Yeah, it's been fun. And we've got another comment from Captain Meats. It's not it's showing up now. Who says, "I enjoyed this as much as pulling my leg scabs off. Good laugh." I do enjoy pulling my scabs off every now and then. See, I'm one of those people who just repeatedly pulls it off, so it just ends up being scar tissue. Plus, there's something really satisfying about just getting a freshly pulled off scab and just like pressing it in between your fingers. Now, I'm saying this and doing this gesture, and I'm like, is this the same sort of thrill people get when they pull wings off insects and then end up becoming a lorry driver and raping hitchhikers? I don't know. People are into whatever they want to be into at the end of the day. And I do probably have some sociopathic tendencies as I've grown as a person. But yeah, no, seriously, guys, cheers for stopping by, keeping me entertained, asking me questions, both serious and a little bit taking the piss. That's what it's all about, isn't it? Just having a bit of a laugh. There's so much serious nonsense going out. Plus, I get to see what exactly Mr. Chan has been up to, so we'll be watching that with open eyes and bated breath. So yeah, hope everyone's had a good time. Cheers for stopping by. I'm terrible at ending these streams. I repeat myself a lot, but we're not all perfect. And yeah, thanks for watching. Thanks for sticking by. Hope you're all well. I was going to say hope you're having a good week so far. It's Monday, but yeah, hope you all enjoyed the rest of your week. And yeah, I'm very fucking hungry right now, so I'm gonna have a midnight snack. It's gonna be a meal, let's be honest. But yeah, cheers for watching. You all stay safe, take care, and yeah, look out for another stream like this. But I think I'll be active a little bit this week. And don't forget, next week it's my birthday week. Not just birthday week, but birthday week. So we'll be doing a week of coffee related beer reviews, but each one is going to be live, and you guys are going to help me pick what beers I'll be reviewing. This week is going to be Brewed by Numbers week, so hopefully you enjoy those reviews. And then the week after birthday beer week, fucking hell, I'm actually putting time and effort into the content. We're going to be doing a Black Iris Brewery week, but we'll throw some other beers in there because I need to get rid of video files essentially. And then Harry says, "Are you going to fuck off then?" Well, I'm going to stick around now. Can you hear that? No, I'm going to end this stream now. Cheers for watching, guys. You all take care, stay safe, and see you next time. And I do genuinely really appreciate you guys sticking around for this. I thought I'd be like on for half an hour answering like 3 questions, but no, it's been a good laugh. I've enjoyed this, and we should do this more often. See you later, guys. Take care. It'd be help. No, actually, turn.